I've been caught. I've been caught. No, only in the sense that I was doing things, clicking around on my computer, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the counter hit 0, about to go live. Okay. Compose, breathe. Yes, as Grant says, good morning all. Good morning all from Bayswater. And I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. Sorry, I stumbled over that a little. I think I got it out. Hopefully I managed to convey the correct respect. Hello, hey Emmy. Okay, so who do we have in the chat? A couple of people have popped up. Good morning to Stephen 44799. I like your serial number, Stephen. Good morning to Crispian, Stephen George, Princess Fiona, Grant Maisels, and oh, okay. There is a user in the chat which is Ingmam8858. Is that Iggy? I don't know. Normally, hang on, I've just got to click a couple of names here to remove them from the good morning list. And also good morning to Paul Schultz, John Witz, Emmy, Vic, Debraze, Andrew B. All marked as lost squirrels in this little chat interface. Netventive, welcome. So, who was it? I think it was scrolling. Ingmam said, just in case anyone reads the early comments, I'm reading it now. Who is going to Electronex and SMCBA conference in Sydney on Tuesday? The annual Australian Electronics Trade Show, Surface Mount Circuit Board Association Conference. Yeah, I wish I was. I saw there was a comment a little bit down the chat. Princess Fiona said, and this is accurate, I believe me, really wanted to go to Electronex. It's penciled on the calendar and he's been going on about it, but life is hectic this year, yes. It's something that I would have liked to go to. Okay, so my attitude to Electronex has changed a little over time. Hang on, I need to do that. The thing that you did not hear. Oh, good morning. Also, good morning, Mike. Mike Carden, g'day. Simon, CBR. Abe is here. David Crisp. Aidan Edwards, Tech Nebulous. Welcome. There are a couple of names in the chat that I don't recognize, probably just because my brain is a sieve, my memory is a sieve. I'm trying to do better. Before I start talking about Electronex, the general plan for the stream today, I would like to do some, and so this comment is mostly for the benefit of Vic. I would like to do some RepRap Micron stuff today, but realistically, I'm probably not going to get to it. And the Imam said, sorry now, out walking the dog. So what I don't know is whether the Ingmam8858 user is the Iggy that I know from Canberra. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. We shall see. And the Iggy that I know from Canberra does have a dog, I believe. So it could be. Of course, it is. Okay, cool. And Suriabe one said, if you didn't recognize me, I'm Abe from Aces. Yeah, cool. It's good to see you in the chat. Now, there are a number of miscellaneous things. The reason that I queued the video last night with just the generic stream image instead of something specific like the RepRap image is that there are just, I have a number of, okay, so this is an interesting way that Princess Fiona puts it, is having open tabs in her brain. There are a whole lot of open tabs, and they are sitting there because they need to be resolved. You need to bring them to the foreground, put them in focus at some point, do whatever you need to do with them, and then you can close that tab, put it out of your mind. There are a bunch of open tabs in my brain right now, and yeah, I want to work through a couple of them, because there are a couple that are things I probably should have talked about on previous streams, and then I just forgot. So it's just going to be one of those streams, I think. Oh, Iggy says, been 5 years since we did our chat. Really? Actually, yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because I remember doing, what this is in reference to is Iggy was a guest on a stream, and it would have been during a COVID time. I'm not sure if it was specifically during a lockdown, but it was like in the COVID era. And ooh, let's see if this works. Let's see if the TTS works. Hopefully it does.
Closing tabs is bad. Very, very bad.
Yeah, Vic says plenty of squirrelage today then. Yeah, probably. Probably. And yeah, so I had Iggy on talking about, I have to be very careful about what I say because of Iggy's job. And disclosure of identities and all of that sort of thing. So yes, what Iggy was talking about was some work that he did, some forensics work that he did in relation to, I believe it was a murder case, figuring out a process to recover images from a digital camera that held evidence of a crime, and the images had then been deleted from the camera. And so for those of you who weren't around 5 years ago for Iggy coming on as a guest on the live stream, and you haven't seen one of his talks about this process, because he's talked about this at conferences. It's just being a Fed and being involved in the line of work that he is, his identity doesn't get associated. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Figuring out how to recover images from a camera, and and I believe it led to a conviction. The end result, which, yeah, pretty amazing outcome. Crispian says, so this is talking about closing tabs in your mind. Crispian says, I've had a big cull and only have 267 tabs open now. I believe we did this just recently. We had a tab open off. And I have many, but I do not even come close to many people. Okay, Session Buddy, let's see. What does Session Buddy say in this browser? 72 tabs. Only 72 tabs I've got open right now. Yeah, I've closed off a whole lot as well. What ends up happening is that when I'm working on a design, this happened to me just recently. I tend to keep tabs grouped by topic within a window. So I'll have a window which will have, which might be, so if I'm starting on a new research path, for example, finding magnetic rotation sensors for absolute position encoding, what I'll do is new window and start doing a search, like maybe a parametric search on DigiKey, maybe just like a general search for absolute position sensors. And then as I find things, I'll open new tabs within the context of that window. So the window becomes a self-contained encapsulated collection of tabs related to that particular thing. And then what usually happens is that because I need to keep referring back to them, I'll keep that collection open. and then eventually I don't want to just kill it all off because I may need to refer back to it because the design process is not yet finished. So I'll just minimize that window. So along the bottom of my, I've got a lot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah, so I've got 21 collections of tabs in Windows that are minimized into the dock so that I can go back and move back into that context of whatever that is. And for those of you who haven't seen it, you should check out Session Buddy. It's a really good way of being able to do things like search across all tabs in all browser windows, which is a very, very cool tool. So that was something that Princess Fiona put me onto. I hadn't come across it before. Tinker, welcome. Grant says, remember? 1 month. Think I have about 1,000 on one computer and nearly as many on the other computer. It is a disease. Need to do housekeeping. Yeah, Tinker says, true squirrel chases open multiple tabs in multiple windows on multiple workspaces on multiple machines. Yeah. I wonder if Session Buddy does cross-machine synchronization and search. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Or if, yeah, it would need some kind of a web service. Oh, Iggy says, I'll come back and watch this later. Time for brekkie with the wife and Westy. Have a good day. You too, Iggy. I haven't seen you for a while. I'm going to be in Canberra soon. Probably multiple times in the not too distant future. But yeah, I don't know if there will be opportunities for catching up with people. Hopefully there will. I've not even looked at that. So Princess Fiona said, Session Buddy backup capability is awesome. It's very sensible. Yep. Yes. Good. I am a fan of Session Buddy now. I started using it not that long ago. The killer feature for me is just being able to find stuff. Because I have so many minimized windows, I might know that I've got something open, like a data sheet for something, and it is very useful in Chrome that if you open a new window and you start typing into the URL, it will find among all of your open tabs if there are any matches, and then there is a switch to this tab option. So that can be a shortcut to finding things as well, but Session Buddy just takes it to a whole other level. Gives you a list of all of your tabs and lets you search through them across all windows. Yeah, okay, so I should have made myself a list. I did not. Mea culpa. Before I forget, a couple of weeks ago, this is something, okay, I'm going to set you all on a mission. There are certain people who are going to have very strong opinions about this, and I love that. I want those strong opinions because I need to get myself up to speed on this, which is security systems and cameras. I have a friend who asked me about 2 weeks ago. So he's recently moved factories. He was in a factory, so here in Melbourne, he was in a big factory, had a business that he sold, and has moved. He's just maybe 2 months ago moved into a smaller factory because his business has changed. He's now doing different stuff. And the new factory is very nice. It's it's like a recent build. It's only a couple of years old, so really nice place. And it's not fitted out with security or anything because that is the duty of the tenant. And also, he wants to fit up a security system and cameras at his sister's house. So what he asked me is, what security system should I install? What cameras should I install? And some years ago, I would have had answers to that off the top of my head, but I don't know what the current hotness is, or what the current goodness is. Not hotness, I want the current goodness. Now, when it comes to cameras, my knee-jerk reaction is to go something like Reolink. with all local storage, not using like the Chinese Reolink cloud service or anything like that. But yeah, so something like a local NVR. But okay, so there is the whole camera issue. And also, this is a question that I want to answer for myself, because I want to do some security upgrade stuff around the factory here and around the lab. I have many PIR motion detectors, because I have done security installation stuff in the past, years and years ago. I have a whole box full of PIRs. I've got I already have cameras around the place, but I want to put in more. In fact, I have more. I've got a few cameras in. I'm not actually going to reveal on stream how many cameras I've got, but I do have a few cameras both indoors, inside and outside. And about a month ago, Lachlan came across some bargain cameras. There was a place that was selling off Reolink cameras. So I've got Reolink cameras all through here. He came across a place that was selling off Reolink cameras at like a third of retail, because they were clearing out a particular stock line or something. So, and he was at the store at the time, and he sent me a message saying, "Do you want some?" And I said yes. So he grabbed me another 5 cameras, I think it was. So I've got those brand new sitting in boxes ready to install. And I also have a box of other IP cameras that I got a few years ago. So I've got probably 10 spare IP cameras that I could install around the place in different places. I am deliberately not looking at the chat right now. I am taking it on faith that there are a bunch of people right now with those strong opinions who are throwing out ideas, and I am going to scroll back in a second and scan through them. I'm still in the laying out the parameters phase of this. Okay, so cameras. Things to care about are the usual quality, value, all of that sort of stuff, ease of installation, not tracking back to a Chinese cloud service, so all local operation, all of those sorts of things that you would expect. And
Imi says the number of cameras Jono has is yes.
yep, that's right, the number is yes, but I want more. I want many more. I want essentially full coverage inside and out. And on Friday night, so I came here yesterday. As many of you know, we have a problem with hoons here. Hang on, I'm going to find the photos. I came here yesterday for striking, and because when I go to, yep, I just say it's striking, like kickboxing, but it's that particular training session on a Saturday is specifically a striking class, so it encompasses kickboxing, Muay Thai, a bit of regular boxing, some other associated disciplines, because people who train in combat sports tend to cross-train in a whole lot of different things. So it brings in elements of like full contact karate, and those things all go in as well. Imi says...
Imi says you want to increase the number from yes to heck yes.
Yes to heck yes. Yeah, okay, so when I turned up here yesterday to go to striking class at the gym just up the street, there was an absolute mess in the road. I'm just pulling up some stuff on Dropbox now. Let's see. These photos don't really, they don't really give you a sense of how bad this is. You just can't tell from the photos. Yeah, so this is looking back past the front of my factory, which is on the left here. And there's some marks on the road. Looking back, there are some other marks down the road. Back down there. See where those cars are parked? Directly opposite that car, so on the right-hand side, that's where my gym is. And it was yeah, it was an absolute mess. You can see there smashed. Someone obviously popped a tire. There are bits of steel belting. There is rubber, like pieces of tire spread all
Here's
over the
why we are
road.
not allowed rocket launches.
What was that about rocket launches? Oh, Hoons are why we are not allowed rocket launches. Yeah, yeah. You can just see all down there. There's shredded bits of metal and broken stuff. So they've smashed stuff from the front of one of the factories. Where is it? Is it in that view? Yeah. So you can see there.
Hold my beer. I
There.
Ballarat. I feel like I live in a 24-hour
There.
motorsport park.
Yeah, yeah. There's some smashed up stuff. So these are markers and things that were near the front of one of the factories, and it looks like they've gone and grabbed them and thrown them out on the road or something, and yeah, oh, you can see there's a marker there. So yeah, just bits of steel and stuff all over the road and chunks of rubber. Anyway, this is what it was like yesterday, and that is exactly what it looks right now. Nothing has changed because there has been hardly any traffic in the road since then. It's just been a weekend. Nobody comes here on weekends except me and the Hoons. Yeah, so what was the point of all of that? Okay, the point is I have so much footage. Oh, maybe I should. Now this was from, I think I might have shown this, I can't remember. There was a time about 2 weeks ago when, was it this one? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I did show this. I showed, so this is the very end of the process. So this is after the big crowd disappeared, and you can see the car parked up the end there, pulling away, about to leave, and then you see there's lights that just reflected on the trees. Look who's coming up around the corner. Yeah, like 90 seconds too late. Actually, more than 90 seconds too late, because there were probably somewhere between 30 and 50 cars at that particular burnout meet. Okay, so the point is, the point in relation to this is I want to stick more cameras out the front. So I want cameras pointing into the street, cameras at the front of the building, so if anything, because the thing is that when that happens, the crowds of people come right up to my front door. Like there will be cars parked in both of my driveways. Like Hoons will park in both the driveways. There'll be crowds of people in the garden, in the front of my factory, on the street, up near the front door. There are just people everywhere, and I don't trust these people. So I want to have really good video coverage of the whole front part of the factory, and also inside. Yeah. And also one of the things that I'm worried about is reprisals, because when this sort of stuff happens, I often go out the front. So I'll go, this happened, that video that I just showed you, where the cars were leaving, while they were doing it, I went out the front. I was out there for a while with my phone filming it, and they know that I'm from this factory and that I send this footage to the cops. So I get abuse every time it happens. Like I get people swearing at me and screaming at me and shouting threats and that sort of thing. And there could be 50 or 100 people out there that are involved in this on the big nights when the big crowds are there. And as it's pretty normal for as they are dispersing and I'm standing there filming number plates, for them to start screaming stuff at me out the window as they're driving away. So I keep half expecting that sometime I am going to find bricks through my front window or my own car smashed up or something like that as a result, just in reprisal for the fact that I go out there and film it. Yeah. Yeah, Tinker says, only true security comes from 24-hour on-site, well-paid armed guards. Yeah, the thing is that, I need to go back in the chat. The thing is that there is security. Okay, the building directly across the street, what used to be the sawmill, is now a storage facility for the company that does all the Visa cards and Placard. That's it. Half the block there is owned by Placard. So they're doing Visa, MasterCard, driver's licenses, all sorts of stuff. There are super high security facilities over there in that block, like within 100 meters of me. Places that you can't, even as like the employees can't just walk in. They go through bag checks and scanners and stuff just to get in or out of the building, so that they can't take stuff out of it. And they have guards. Like there's one guard in particular who is often walking laps and hanging around out there, but it doesn't seem to make any difference to the Hoons. They don't care. There is security right there 24/7 on site. And they, okay. Oh, hello to Don S. and Jax Turk. Welcome to the chat. Okay. So, all right, the other part of this, before I go back and start reading the chat, is security systems. Now, this is a really interesting topic. Now, I know, okay, there are a number of different schools of thought here. One school of thought is home automation systems are ideal as the basis for a security system because you have sensors everywhere pulled back into some central location where they can be monitored. You have actuators in terms of outputs. Typically the system will have some kind of an app or a UI so it can send notifications to your phone. Often it will have integration with security cameras, so you can do things like pull RTSP video streams into the UI of your home automation system. So if you are running the Home Assistant app, or if you are running some other home automation system, you can probably pull up your camera feeds within the home automation app. So what you could do is have a notification that is triggered on motion events outside of certain hours, or you could have modes where you say, I'm going to put my home automation system into secure mode or away mode, and any movement or different types of inputs that are triggered, we'll put it into an alarm state so that it notifies me, and then I can pull up video streams, etc. So that is one school of thought, which is a home automation system is the ultimate basis for a security system. The other school of thought is that a security system is a critical piece of infrastructure which must operate, it must have minimum scope for failure, so it must be reliable. You do not want false negatives. It must always operate if one of the sensors is triggered. And you also want it to, so even if you have duplication of infrastructure, it is better with this train of thought to have your automation system and your security system. So in that situation, what you do is you install a commercial security system like one of the big name classics like Bosch or something, and then that should operate 100% reliably, or as close to it as any system does, regardless of the state of the home automation system. So your home automation system could crash, go offline, all sorts of bad things could happen. You could break it, you can mess around with it. And home automation systems tend to be systems that you play with. They are not static. They are big ongoing experiments where you're always adding new devices. and you do not want your security critical infrastructure to be dependent on whatever experiment you were running at the time, or dependent on third-party firmware updates for some sensor that, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So that in that school of thought, you have a dedicated security system, possibly with third-party alarm monitoring, not necessarily just alerting you, but going back to a monitoring service where they've got operators who will see the alert come up on their system, and they can dispatch, depending on your contract, like what plan, what you're willing to pay. They can dispatch security guards if they try to escalate it to you and you fail to respond or answer the phone, and basically treat it as a traditional security problem independent of your automation system, and then potentially link them. So what you could do, one very trivial way to do this is you install a security system. You make it 100% functional in isolation, regardless of what your home automation system is doing. But security systems typically have both inputs and outputs that you can repurpose for different things. So what you can do is take one of the outputs. It might be a silent alarm output, or it could be just the siren output, and then you have that sensed by your home automation system. And that then allows you to get notifications.
Making me one of her special coffee fee, Covfeef inspired name.
Ooh, nice. Special coffees. Coffee, a special coffee fee. Yeah, I had a special coffee fee this morning. Princess Fiona makes excellent coffee fee. And then you get notifications. So it's almost the best of both, where the security system you can rely on, but changes of state in the security system get reported back or are surfaced through your home automation system. And I kind of like that idea. I kind of like that approach. Come on, you know me. I have a very much I want to build that sort of feeling to a lot of these sorts of projects. And I have built security stuff before. I've got products like, and one of the projects in Practical Arduino was end-of-line sensing for security sensors, so that you can use an Arduino to connect to multiple motion detectors, and you can detect the state of the sensor, and you can also detect tampering on the line using end-of-line sensing. And so I've done all of this sort of stuff. I know how to do it, but should I do it? Or do I just buy like a current model Bosch commercial security system and be done with it and treat it as a separate standalone thing? Okay, now that I have given you all of that, what's the time? 10:34. So I've just given you like 20 minutes of background on that. Now, I'm going to scroll back, and see what you are all saying. Okay, in fact, I'm going to bring this up here, because why not share it? In fact, let's do this. Let's make it we'll embiggenify it. Vic says, Chrome can go for a long search on a short data stream now. Firefox has WebUSB. Ooh, yeah. Fewer tabs. Yes, Donis. Yeah, okay. Haha. Here we go. Starting on, okay, cameras. Donna says, Reolink and Frigate. So for those of you who don't know, Frigate is the recording side of the equation. Putting in cameras is one thing, but where does the video stream go? You can get NVRs, so network video recorders, also sometimes called DVRs, digital video recorders, which will take the video streams from all of the cameras and jam the bytes on a disk and give you a UI, typically a web UI, where you can pull them back off, which is exactly what I do with the Reolink thing. So you've seen this before. I'm going to pull it up right now. So this is Reolink's desktop client running locally on my Mac. There is also a web interface, so I could pull up my NVR from a web browser, and it is storing stuff on disk. So if I go to like a 4-camera display, it's just opened the streams. So and then I can pick which cameras I want to display. So in this case, I'm showing a grid of 4, but you can do grids of 9 or 12 or whatever. You can do a single camera, which is the version 8, and then you can select in this grid of 4. These I've got channels 1, 6, 3, and 5.
At Tinker001 said, life skills tip, UPS for your NVR and PO cameras.
Yeah, UPS for all of this. Yes, that is a very good tip. Yeah, so the NVR side of it, which is the recording side, and then from here I could search. I can go back in time. Like if I go to playback, you can see there is a timeline at the bottom. I can pick a channel, like I could drag a channel into this location and it would show, it's got motion tracking, so you can see events. You can be triggered on motion events. You can set zones. So when you're setting up a particular thing, like here for example, you can see if I go to single camera view on this, you can see there is constant motion here with these trees moving because of wind coming through. And so what you can do is exclude zones of the field of view and not have motion triggered on those areas. So what I could do is I could have a motion zone that is just this section down here in the bottom left, and anything that moves in that area will trigger an alert, but anything that's out in this area will not trigger an alert. So the NVR side of it is critical. It's not just a matter of sticking in cameras, it's then what else do you put in to process that and give you alerts based on activity and different software. So Frigate is software that you run on like a PC. So you install a PC, like a box somewhere, you install Frigate on it, and then you configure it to look at the streams for all your cameras. You set up your storage, your data expiration. So what you don't necessarily want to keep all your footage forever, because streaming video from many cameras simultaneously just chews through the disk. Typically you run multiple disks, pretty commonly RAID on the NVR, just because you're dealing with so many video streams, and these could be like 4K video streams. So you could be processing like 6 to 10 typically 4K video streams simultaneously. It's not a trivial thing. It sounds simple to put in some cameras, but when you look at what's actually going on with the sheer volume of data that you are ingesting every second, and then you've got to deal with storage and then searchability, and ideally real-time processing, where on that same machine, it's pretty common these days for them to be using machine learning and also just vision image processing techniques to do things like number plate recognition. So face detection, number plate recognition, all of that sort of stuff is really commonly built into the recording software these days. So that is the question of quit. So Don's suggestion is Reolink and Frigate. So Reolink cameras, which is what I currently have mostly. I've got a couple of other cameras that are not Reolink. I think I've got 3 or 4 that aren't Reolink, but most of my cameras are Reolink. And Frigate as the recording system. Stephen said, if you want a security system that basically any security contractor can maintain, something from Inner Range. Yeah, so Inner is another of the Inner security system. The thing is that I am out of the, here we go, inner range, yeah. Like these names that are being thrown up, like Bosch, inner, etc. I'm familiar with these from my previous brushes working with security, but I don't know what the current goodness is. So yeah, inner range is one that is quite popular, and Bosch is like one of the classic big name brands that you see in big installations around the place. There are a few others. Yeah, so this was what I read earlier. Something like a Bosch Solution 6000. That's what David suggested. Rear-Link integrates well with Home Assistant. Yes, that is a factor. Right now, I'm not actively using Home Assistant, but yeah, I should. So Don suggested that. Vic says, yep, Rear-Link is good. Run that here. Interfaces to Home Assistant. Yeah, confirming the suspicion. Stephen says, I'm old school for alarms. I use a Bosch 6000 with an Ethernet interface, but I wrote my own listener to receive events from the system. No control to alarm on purpose. Yes, that is a good point. The security systems typically allow you to remote manage them, which is potentially very, very dangerous. But that's the way it is. Okay, so Bosch 6000. I'm going to look that one up right now. Bosch 6000. Bosch 6000. As recommended by Sean Connery. Bosch alarm system kits. Okay. Bosch 236 Bosch 6000 alarm kit. So this would be a typical standalone sort of system with some PIRs, a siren and strobe, the panel itself, backup battery, keypad, a screamer to blow the eardrums of anyone who happens to be inside at the time it happens, and power. Non-dialer version where traditional phone line reporting is not required. Ah, yes. Okay, so this is the other thing, is that traditionally security panels have hooked into often a fax line. Hang on. Like when I've set these sorts of things up in the past, what they do is they interpose with the existing phone, like they go into a phone socket, and most commonly you do it on a fax line because there is one device on the fax line. You don't have multiple faxes all on the same line. So what it does is interposes between the fax machine and the phone line that it's plugged into, and when it needs to raise an alarm, it can disconnect the existing call if there is one in progress and dial out and call to the monitoring center and do a dump, like it sends a data packet of the status of of whatever is going on. So yeah, it'll do that even if, for example, you were in the middle of receiving a fax. It'll interrupt, it'll drop the call and take control of the phone line. But of course, who's got phone lines these days? Like, who's got, let alone a fax machine? So the standard version, dialer version, yeah, plugs into a phone line. But unless you've got something like a VoIP to PSTN adapter, like a serial ATA adapter, and no, that is not a disk-related thing. That is different. So Wi-Fi version. So that would connect to something like if your phone line comes in via NBN and it's all VoIP based, and you just want your monitoring system to connect to your thing. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Okay, Stephen says, for cameras I use Dahua with a local NVR. I'm curious to know what NVR And Aiden says, Unify has come a long way with their cameras in a range for security. Yeah, so Unify for cameras is an interesting one. Really interesting. It's... there is so much that is attractive about the single management interface Unify thing. Like, I'm probably about to dox myself. Probably. Yeah, as Aiden says, Unify's G5 turrets are pretty well priced and 2K res, around 160 AUD. Yeah, Unify and such depends on the cloud, and alarm systems should have nothing to do with the cloud or another vendor cloud, says David. Yep. Unify quite pricey, says Don S. Hang on, I need to open a... Oh, I just opened a... I just foregrounded iTerm, which showed a... There are so many things I want to talk about on this stream. And I've spent 46 minutes on the thing that I thought was going to be like the first 2 minutes, which was just what... Okay, let's boil this down. The person who has asked me this question is not a computer person. He's technical in the sense of he is very capable of doing cabling and wiring things up and solving mechanical problems. Like if I gave him motion detectors and some reels of cable and said, go and stick these up and run the cables to them, I have 100% confidence he would do the job very, very well. But he's not a computer type person. He's more of the cabling infrastructure type person. Oh, and the other thing, of course, is certification and who is allowed to do this. That is a whole other can of worms. Ooh boy. Yeah, I am in a Facebook group called, well, I'm in a couple of related Facebook groups. One of them is Crappy AV Data. What's the name? Crappy Data and AV or something. It's, well, there's Crappy Electrical, and then there's another one which is Crappy Data and AV, and it's basically professional installers who go on site and come across existing installations done by homeowners or shoddy installers or whatever, and they take photos and then just mock them mercilessly. Like, who the hell did this installation? Obviously someone who has not been properly trained, and some of them are pretty horrifying. Yeah, I sent in some photos a while ago of a security system that I found at Port Arthur in Tasmania, in the tourist area. Anyway, I won't get into that. So there is the whole thing about the pros who do this all day, every day, are horrified at the idea of mere mortals doing any installation, because there are subtleties to it. There are many things that are not apparent at first glance that the professionals know about and see and deal with. And if this is the first and only time that you're going to install a security system, there are probably things you're going to screw up. It's probably not going to be a great job. So, yeah, there is that. Yeah, so the single panel. All right, I'm just going to extract. I've got to pull my password out of my password management system, which means I've got to type in my ridiculously long decryption key and extract the ridiculously long randomly generated password, because this stuff, the security on this, I actually take really seriously on the network. On the management side of the network. Come on, load. Why are you not loading? Maybe that. So I'm running Unify controller in Docker on my Synology NAS, which has got an 8-disk array in it. And it is, I wonder what the load is on it right now, because it is taking some time. I wonder if it's doing something. That's not a good sign. This is one of those red flags where if I was in ops, I would, like in SRE, there would probably be an alarm going off somewhere saying latency on this particular service is unacceptable. Fix it. Fix it. So yeah, Unify. So David says Unify and such depends on the cloud. They can, but they don't have to.
Tinker001 said, it's busy phoning home to China.
Yeah, it's busy phoning home. Exactly. So, I wonder what that is. Average upload. Oh, I see. That's just because I'm streaming. I saw this traffic chart and I went, what the hell is going on my network? Oh yeah, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. As the song says. Yeah, so, where is all of that data? What is causing that? So, yeah, APs and stuff, so Ethernet switches and devices. See, this has been really laggy. That should have rendered like, but it's there is something going on that NAS. I'm not going to look at it right now. I'm going to stick my head in the sand and pretend that it's not happening. Oh, there it goes. It eventually, so ISP going through the Unify Security Gateway Pro 4 to a USW Ultra. So I've got this is like the core switch. So I've got a PoE core switch, which is then running out. And also this topology is not necessarily correct. Yeah, it is not correct. For some reason, the sitemap stuff on Unify screws up. Sorry, I think I said Synology when I meant Unify. So you can see, for example, I've got ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, I've got switch under desk 1, I've got switch desk 1. Why are there 2 entries for switch desk 1? The upstream of this, and it looks like an orphan little node, the upstream of this is that. Like this core switch is what links these other switches. So I've got 3 switches in the rack, and then I've got other switches distributed around the office. And yeah, anyway, and then nodes, etc. So this is hardwired nodes. I think it's only showing, oh no, it's showing wireless nodes as well. Interesting. Tasmota, Sonoff, Unify controller, KO1, look, there's a pick and place machine. That reminds me, that is one of the many other things that I want to talk about today before I forget it. Okay, things to talk about today. Do you want to buy a pick and place machine? Because I want to sell you a pick and place machine. Okay, we'll return to that. The Testomatic Central Register code. I want to talk to you about that. I want to show you what I've been doing recently on that. What else? What else? Other topics. See, this is why I'm not going to get... Yeah, this is why I am not going to get to RepRap Micron today, because there are just so many of these other things. Now, what I really want is 2 recommendations, but they may be the same recommendation. And what I mean by that is, I want, okay, knowing what you know about me and my like relative level of knowledge and ability, etc., and what I care about spending time on, what security system and camera system, which are two different questions, do you recommend for me? Like, what NVR should I be using? I don't like the Reolink NVR. I want to get rid of that. I want to replace it. Maybe Frigate. I don't know. But I think Frigate only runs on Windows, doesn't it? And I am currently a Windows-free environment, so I would rather not put a critical piece of infrastructure in running on Windows. Just from the fact that I'm not familiar with it, quite apart from anything else. Even if, I mean, I can find my way around Windows. I've spent enough time messing around on other people's computers that I know how to drive Windows. But I do not have a single Windows computer in the building. Like Lachlan does, I'm pretty sure. I do not. I have dozens of computers here, 0 Windows. So, oh yeah, so Unify doesn't depend on the cloud. We're on all as local. Yeah, that was the point I was going to make.
For people who don't really care.
Yeah, but there are certain services like Frigate, I think, which only run on Windows. Yeah, I run the Unify controller software in Docker on my Synology NAS, all local, no cloud requirement whatsoever. So you can do it that way. Oh, Vic says, my goof was getting too many rechargeable cameras and not enough PoE cameras. PoE is worth the effort as long-range movement detection is way better. Yes, yeah, my camera, 100% of my cameras are PoE. So, which means you've got to go to the trouble of doing the cabling, but then once you've done that cabling and you've got past the pain, it just works forever. No batteries or issues. It's like mega bandwidth, constant power, IR illumination available because you've got all the power you want over PoE, etc. So all the goodness, pushing firmware updates to them, etc. All good. I just realized how far back I am. I am 40 minutes behind in the chat. Oh, David said, right now my lathe is hanging 1300 millimeters from the floor by the ceiling hoist. Ominously, like bricks don't. Yes. Yes. It hung in the sky like bricks don't. The Vogon Destructor Fleet. Oh, Stephen says you want an audio trigger too, so if the dB level is super loud outside, you get a notification from the camera system and it records everything in high quality. Yes. Dinah says need speed humps in the street. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be practical because there is so much traffic in this street during the day with big trucks in particular. There are semis, including B doubles, that are like every day there would be a bunch of very large trucks that go through this street for businesses just around in this area. So speed bumps, unfortunately, would not be suitable. Jack's Tech said, cameras with loudspeaker warning, you are being filmed, this footage is being forwarded to police. Yeah. Oh yeah, need a PTZ so you don't have to go outside. So PTZ is pan tilt zoom. Yes, which basically means you can remotely and zoom in and out. Not inside, Jack Sex said, not inside their properties are not their problem. Also, security can't really do anything except call the cops. Yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. Gavin! Hello, Gavin Jackson 2761. Yes. And I've talked about this in the past. In my early 20s, I did that job. I did security of different types. Mostly it was in venues like crowd control and like up close and personal sort of stuff. But I also sometimes, when the bad times happen, yeah, I had to do a few shifts being a security guard. It is horrible. It is the most boring thing in the world. I have done those shifts where you have to go and hang around outside a building from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. and you don't see another living soul, and you have to stay warm and just not go insane. Yeah, and you have to keep paying attention. It's not like you can go and sit in the corner and read a book or something. You cannot be that oblivious to your environment. You have to maintain situational awareness even when there is no situation to be aware of. So it's like 8 hours straight of maintaining a state of alertness when nothing is happening. I can't overemphasize how brain numbing it is to be to do security guard type work. I hated it. Blue Iris. Okay, so I think Blue Iris might be a Windows-based one as well. Very capable software for a non-tech is Blue Iris. It has all the features and is a perpetual one-off license, $100. That is a really good suggestion. Hang on. Yeah, so the person who asked me this question is a Windows person. So he's not a computer person, but he has a computer, and I believe it runs Windows. So something like Blue Iris on his PC could be a way to do it. But ideally you want a dedicated box that is doing nothing but sucking down the video. Oh yeah, Don S again said Blue Iris for non-techie. Oh, Gavin says NDAA compliant cameras are a thing now. How do the cameras for the vendors you speak of comply? Oh, Stephen says doxing your public IP. Yeah. And what is NDAA? Is this something that I have NDAA? NDAA compliant. Oh, National Defense Authorization Act. Okay, so this is an American thing. Yeah. I didn't recognize the acronym, but I have definitely heard of this. Yeah, this is in relation to whether a supplier can be trusted, like at a national security level, as whether they are a threat to the infrastructure of a country, not necessarily through public, like public infrastructure. It might be private infrastructure, but if they achieve a level of market penetration that gives them access to a large number of installations across a particular country, then it can be considered a national security issue. So a company, for example, being 100% on topic here, a Chinese security camera company is with cameras or an NVR that phones home to like a cloud service would not fly typically for an NDAA compliant sort of requirement. Yeah, you need to, yes. Okay, so that's what that's about. Oh, okay, Jacksec says, I thought Frigate was Docker-based. Maybe it is. I might have actually been remembering Blue Iris as being the Windows thing. I know that there is one piece of software, but it's essentially the leading consumer NVR software that everybody says is just use this, just use this, just use this. It'll solve the problem. And it is Windows only. I couldn't remember which it was. I thought maybe that was Frigate, but no, Blue Iris I think is that thing that people recommend. And it's one of those situations where it's just the leading contender. It does the things, it's as user-friendly as it could be. People just install it and use it. It just solves the problem. So Blue Iris plus rear link camera plus OXRS security sensors. Yeah, good one. Austin, calling out the OXRS, nice. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Blue Iris is what was installed at Nick and Chris's place to run their cameras. Peter took care of that. I wasn't involved in it, but at some point I remember looking over his shoulder and he was showing me security camera stuff, and I'm pretty sure it was on Blue Iris. Oh, Mark says, so Mark Laguda says, I have Frigate running in Docker. Yep, cool. Jack's Tech said, you have a Unify environment already, so Unify security systems would make sense. Aiden says, we've got an ENVR with 150 cameras, 70% are non-Unify, connected via OnVIF. Yeah, okay, so hang on. I'm going to cough again and take a swig of water, hopefully to clear this throat. Okay, nice. Nice. Tinker says, as a former truck driver, speed bumps are bad. Yeah. Tech Nebula says, all cameras are these days OnVIF compliant. Then from there is a few Linux capable software and VNME. Yeah, so OnVIF is like the standard for how you talk to cameras, so that you can buy cameras from multiple suppliers and then integrate those video streams into a single unified management system. So yeah, it's kind of the convention that has emerged. It's got to the point essentially where people expect OnVIF support, and so camera makers who don't have OnVIF in their software, like in the camera firmware, they have to do it because they wouldn't sell cameras otherwise. Or they'd sell cameras and then people would realize, and then they wouldn't sell any more cameras. Okay, so what I am going to posit is recommendations. I am kind of tempted to have the same recommendation for both. Okay, I'm going to say his name is Darren. So the friend who was asking me about security and cameras. What I'm leaning towards is something like a Bosch alarm system with some integration for monitoring via Home Assistant or whatever home automation system you might want. Maybe InnoRange, maybe Bosch. I need to look at what the options are. I need to get myself up to date on the current range and what's good. I'm pretty confident, just based on its history, I am pretty confident that if I installed a Bosch panel, it'd be fine. It may not be the best thing that I could possibly get, but it's tried and proven and it'll work. It'll do the job. So Bosch, something like a Bosch panel and Reolink cameras. My thinking on cameras, as with many of these sorts of systems, is don't buy the cheap crap. Don't splash out for the super expensive high-end stuff because it's diminishing returns and unnecessary. Go for the mid-range. And the experience that I've had so far over the years with different camera systems is that Reolink, I don't really have experience with Dahua. I know people do like them. My experience with Reolink is that they hit that sweet spot of pretty good price, like cheaper than Unify, and the quality is good enough. Like they're decent. In fact, I think the quality of them is probably better than Unify, and they are cheaper than Unify. What they don't have, like these cameras, the ones that I bought recently, they are 5K cameras, and I think they cost about $60 each, something like that. Like full PoE with built-in microphone, so they got audio recording and like all the features, IP67 rated. They're good cameras for a good price. Oh, yes. Okay. Austin has just made a good point. Hopefully it'll come through on TTS in a second.
At Austin's_creations said, don't forget to add a smart interconnected smoke co-alarm.
Yep, that is a very good point. Smoke and CO alarm, so carbon monoxide and potentially other things. Yeah, +1 on the smoke alarm from Vic. That is a very good point. And decent alarm panels will have inputs for this. They will have the classic multi-zones for motion detectors, and you've got to think about how many zones you want, which is based on how many detectors you have and whether you can gang detectors together, which you generally do not want to do. You want each detector on its own channel so that you can say, this channel has been triggered, therefore it is coming from this sensor and therefore this location. And they often have other inputs. I mean, you can use a normal zone input, but typically what you would do is you either have a dedicated input from smoke detectors, like a fire detection system, and that way it raises a different type of alarm. Like it raises an alert that says, I'm in an alarm state, but it's not because of a break-in, it's because I've detected a fire. And sometimes, depending on the panel, sometimes you can reprogram them on a per zone basis. So you might have like a 12-zone panel, and you say, these 9 zones are motion detectors throughout my office and factory. These 3 zones are fire inputs coming from smoke detectors in different locations. So you can say, if zone 10 fires, that is, no, when I say fires, I mean triggers. If you get an alert on zone 10, it is a fire zone and it is in the main factory area. So yeah, you can do all of that sort of stuff. There's a lot of flexibility typically. Tinker says, don't forget to disable the smoke alarms when learning to solder using a hot plate at 0300 though. Yeah. Mr. Fixit. Welcome, Mr. Fixit. Oh, yes. So just catching up. I know I've been talking to you, some of you already. Hello to Austin. Welcome, Austin. Gavin Jackson, Mark Laguda, Rob V, Mr. Fixit. Welcome to the chat. Jax Tech said some panels will throw relays in a Morse fashion to indicate the alarm output. Okay. Interesting one. Yeah. And there were some comments about speed bumps in the chat. That if you want to get to the hospital, speed bumps are bad. 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 Yes. Bad for emergency services. All right. Now, yeah, so this is where I'm leaning towards is, the thing is, I really don't want to use Blue Iris because I do not want to be running a Windows machine. What I'd want is a dedicated NVR box, probably like a rack mount PC with a bunch of disks in it, and ideally running on, Aiden said, I didn't think it would happen, but you've caught up. Yeah. I just got a DM notification that I will check later. Looks like I got a DM from Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen 44799, which is a different Stephen, said Unify NVR, keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. Yeah, that is the temptation. Because I already have Unify, I could throw a Unify NVR in there, link it into the management system, and it would be smooth and seamless.
At Austin's_creations said, instead of guessing Google to confirm required OS for options.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for calling me out on that, Austin. I should. Jackstech said, Frigate sounds like your solution then. Yeah, Frigate. All right, I have not used Frigate. I have not used it. Frigate NVR. Let's see what it looks like. Frigate with locally processed AI. Oh, yes. So this does things like look for people in the video stream and all of that sort of thing. Open source NVR built around blah, 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 blah. Yep. Ooh, yep. Bounding box around the delivery dude. Stop reviewing shadows. Yep, you can do zones. Integration with Home Assistant. Seems good to me. Okay, I'm going to leave this tab open. This is going to add to the thing. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to consolidate that with, I also have an inner range tab open. I'm going to stick that into the same thing like this, and then I am going to go for Bosch. 6500 someone mentioned as having official home. Yeah, Bosch GHO 6500. No, that's a power planer. Bosch 6000. And this is not necessarily the place to get it from, but I am just going to Bosch. Oh, come on. Nope, I'm backing up. I'm backing out of there. I'll bring this up on screen in a second. Bosch. I have no idea in terms of particular suppliers and things. Oh, come on. I had a Bosch page open now, and now every Bosch 6000 page that I click on takes me to a page which is not the Bosch 6000. All right, here we go. I'm going to add this into this just as a reminder to myself to look at security systems, and I've got to check out what it was in that message that Stephen sent me, but I'm not going to do that right now. I will check that later. This is a very good point. Gavin says, if you're advising for a business, consider how easily the insurance company will view it if something goes terribly wrong. That is an excellent point. And that is very definitely an argument for a standard off-the-shelf security system, so that on your alarm, on your insurance thing, you can tick the box that says, yes, I have a security system. Yeah. Tinker, this is what I should do. I keep a dedicated workspace on my main machine for opening things during streams. Yeah, that's what I should do. Mr. Fixit is also shopping for security cameras. Vic. Yeah, okay. So this is the new form, the new safe form of the F word is frigate, is something I've often said while setting up my security system, or something very similar anyway. Yeah. No, I don't have a Unify Dream Machine. I have Unify controller software running in Docker. I do not have a dedicated box, so I don't have a cloud key with storage. Actually no, that's a lie. I do have a Unify cloud key, a Unify cloud thing, one of the rack mount ones, like one of the ones that used to be fancy, but it's quite old, and I don't even run it because I run the new version of the Unify controller in Docker. So I don't have something where I can just turn on the Unify stuff. Oh, okay. As Petrol said, I am super happy with my Reolink cameras and NVR. I don't use Frigate or Blue Iris anymore since the Reolink cameras can detect people or cars. Then I have a local AI setup that does all of the rest. Nice. Okay, so you use the Reolink NVR, and then I'm curious to know how you do the AI setup integrated with the NVR. Yeah, because, well, anyway, that insurance only care if it is professionally monitored. Anything else is irrelevant. Okay. So if it is monitored, yeah, that's true. On the insurance paperwork that I do occasionally, one of the questions is, do you have a monitored alarm system? Aidan said, let me know if you want to borrow one. I'm in Melbourne often. Oh, okay. Well, that's a very generous offer. So either a unified dream machine or a cloud key. I would. Gavin's got a good point there. I would be very interested to see it. And now I am circling on what should I recommend. I think maybe the solution for me and the solution for Darren are going to be different. I think my recommendation for Darren is going to be install one of the regular mainstream brand security systems, get Reolink cameras for the dollar to performance ratio, price performance, and run Blue Iris for monitoring. I think that is a good combo for him. I think for me, the NVR side of it is still, Reolink cameras, I like them. They're good. I'm going to stick with that. I think I'm going to go for a commercial alarm panel, not try to DIY something. It's extra time. All of that. And the question then really comes down to the NVR, how to handle that. So I am curious to see what the Unify solution is like from the NVR side of things. And I already have the Reolink NVR, which I could just keep using. It supports more cameras. This is Gavin's point, which is most serious security equipment wholesalers will only sell to licensed installers who can provide an installer license number. New rule since last June in Vic. This is the continuation of the elimination of DIY, which is happening in all aspects of our lives. No, you are not allowed to do that. You must pay someone to do it. Which pisses me off. Pisses me off so much when it's unnecessary. So often it's just
At
protectionism.
Austin's_creations said, set yourself some price check alerts for deals on hard drives.
Yeah, that's true. Disk prices kind of suck at the moment. They were pretty good and they are not so good at the moment. Yes. Stephen George says, no system is likely perfect. Make a list of must-haves, nice to have, so a short list can be made on systems, both security and CCTV. Stephen George with the systems engineering approach, the sensible approach. Yes. Make a rubric. Aiden, thank you. Aiden said, I'll send you an email. Thank you. Donis says, Rob from the Hookup has good camera comparison. He sure does. There was a time, I haven't checked recently, but there was a time where Rob's life seemed to revolve around assessing cameras. He has done bonkers cameras comparisons, like dozens and dozens of different cameras. Like, I remember there was a video he did a while ago where he made up like a board with, I don't know, like 8 cameras on it. So they all had the same field of view, and then he took the board and mounted it on his house, and then he was doing comparisons of all of the different cameras. And he hasn't just done that once. He has done many videos about he's done many videos about camera comparison. So Rob from the Hookup is definitely someone to check out if you want to know about good cameras. Crispian, I'm going to get back to that nerd brag. So Gavin says, find an NVR and alarm that have native integration and talk together out of the box. Go to the industry standard. Simon said, just wondering if I'm allowed to replace my own sink. No, that's plumbing. Plumbing is forbidden. You have to have a licensed plumber to do plumbing. You are not allowed to replace your sink. That might cause the end of civilization. You must pay an expensive plumber to come and do that thing for you that you could do yourself. Okay, I've got to get off that. As Petrol said, in home automation, the rear link person detection triggers an automation and send a snapshot to the AI, and Home Assistant announces what it sees in the snapshot. Cool. Yeah, Mr. Fix-It. You guys in Australia have too many rules. That is correct. We have too much protectionism for specific industries. I think that is what it is. It's the industry protectionism that annoys me. Stephen says, Inner Range Inception is a basic version panel with 8 inputs and 4 relay outputs. Tinker says, Rob has a camera fetish. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Is it Rob who also had the robot vacuum cleaner fetish? Someone, yeah, I think at some point Rob went down. It might have been Dr. Z's who had the... I think Dr. Z's has had a robot vacuum cleaner fetish at some point. Like buying every single one available and building a big test box and putting, like throwing sand out and then like different materials on the test surface and running them and then weighing how much it picked up to see the effectiveness of each of the vacuums, etc. Mr. Fixit said, in Portland we can do just about anything short of building a nuclear plant in our backyards. Portland. Okay, so are you talking about Portland, Oregon? I like Portland, Oregon. I haven't been there for many years, but I like it. I'd like to go back, but not now. I'm not going to go while the current regime is in power. Maybe not for a while afterwards. We shall see. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Aiden says, I've had NVR drives on back order for nearly 6 months now, trying to match them to our existing 18 terabyte ones, but I'm going to have to bite the bullet and spend more on the 24 terabyte model. Ooh, yeah, drives can be expensive. Oh, and the carpentry to get the correct hole size for the new sink. Yeah, that's right. You've got to, you need a licensed builder to do the work to, like on the kitchen, and then you need a licensed plumber to screw on the pipe. Vic says, Nerdbrag made a 3D printable touch indicator good for plus or minus 1 micron. Also put Xubuntu on a MacBook Air instead of Mac OS. Two good Nerdbrags. Quality brags there, Vic. Now, back up here somewhere, there was a link. All right, I'm going to take this. In fact, better still, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this so that you've got to stare at my face. So suffer while I open this link. Discord. Oh, come on. I've got to log into Discord. I haven't, yeah. Multi-factor authentic. Okay. Yeah, this is what happens when you ignore Discord. I've got to log in now, which means I've got to go to MFA. Oh, okay. Corolla. Oh. Is that the thing? Hang on now. I'm not sure if that was the Nerdbrag. Anyway, sorry, Crispian. To get into Discord on my computer, I have got to go through multi-factor authentication and all of that. And I'm not going. I can't be bothered right now. Sorry. Yeah. Now, I still want to get back to the do you want to buy a pick and place machine? Russ Portier said, it may be the case that security wholesalers restrict access to ensure they're not having to support inexperienced people. I work in this space and I'm not familiar with any restrictions. Yeah, that is a point, because if people who install security systems would most commonly fall into two categories, with very few in the middle. Oh, Paul Hibbert is the RoboVac perv. Okay, yeah, Paul Hibbert is, Paul is just Paul. He's always good for a laugh. So, two categories. People who walk into a shop that sells pro-grade security systems are going to be one of two types of people. They are either a professional installer who is going to walk in and say, I need 3 of the Bosch 6000, I need a couple of the Bosch 3000, I'm going to need 40 of that model of PIR, I need 12 wet area PIRs, and give me like 10 rolls of that cable. And they'll go out and do the job. The other type of person who walks in is the person who walks in clueless and has no idea what they're doing. They are only ever going to install one system because it's a system they want to put in their own house, and they're never going to do it again. And I can imagine from the point of view of the company that sells this gear, they want to be dealing with that first person. They do not want to be dealing with the second person. So, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, Russ says the Victorian building regulations, which include restrictions on plumbing, are ridiculous. Yeah. Yep, doesn't well sink. Going down under is on my bucket list, Mr. Fix-It. Yes, come down under. Come to Melbourne. There are. I'm not sure if I should say this, but there are probably better places in Australia to visit. If you are coming from the US to Australia to visit, there are so many beautiful and interesting places that you could visit. Melbourne is not likely to be at the top of the list, but please come to Melbourne. It would be really, really cool if you ever do. Yeah, that would be great. Crispian says, suffice to say, Imi and I have been swinging spanners on our as new 27-year-old newly acquired baby Corolla, Nan's car. Yeah, cool. Austin says, no break, I've been working on a custom DMX controller. I have it doing FFT audio on Core 0, Core 1 does Ethernet, HTTP WebSocket, ESP now and DMX input, nearly done all functions. Very good. Yeah, nice. Grant says you need a license to do
Imi says we have the best coffee though.
Ooh, we have the best coffee? No, I think I drank the best coffee this morning. Yeah, so Grant says you need a license to do non-DIY security systems in Victoria. Yeah, I have a feeling that the way the regulations are worded, I may be wrong about this, but this is my vague recollection, is it's legal to DIY, but you can't do it for money. So you can't go out and charge people to install security systems in their premises on a commercial basis without being licensed. So you need there is cabling licensing and security licensing. Like you have to be a member of ASIL, the Australian Security Industry Association, something, whatever it stands for. If it's even still a thing. I remember ASIL was a thing many, many years ago. And yeah, so you can do it. You can buy a security system, install it yourself. That is legal, but you can't charge someone else to install it on their premises. That kind of aligns with my vague memory of the situation. And Russ points out, also for clarity, access control has very specific legal requirements, but security is different and may not. Yeah. I have such a squirrel on this. So I've mentioned this before on the stream, but it is appropriate in this context, so I will mention it again. Back in the IVT days, one of the jobs that we did was we did the software that managed the link. How do I describe this? It was software that was run at Brisbane Airport. Ended up, I believe Brisbane Airport was the only installation that ever used it. We wrote the software that interfaced with the Australian Federal Police's background check API, and had a queue of, like, it managed access control for Brisbane Airport. That's what it comes down to. It was the software that kept track of all of the employees, of all of the contractors at the airport. So all of the companies that operated at Brisbane Airport, and there are a lot of them. It's not like you think that an airport consists of a couple of companies. They're like the big airlines and the airport itself. It's far more complicated than that. So there are so many different contractors, because different companies can engage their own security contractors, catering, cleaning, like just general maintenance. There are all of the retailers who operate out of the airport facilities. There is so much that goes on at an airport. It's like a city. And every single person that goes on site there needs to have security checks, background checks. They need to carry access credentials. And there are different credentials depending on whether you're going groundside or like groundside versus airside access. And it is all zoned. And it is time boxed. You might have access to a certain area at a certain time and not at other times. It is very complicated. So yeah, we wrote the software that managed, so 10,000 staff. There were 10,000 people with access at the airport with security credentials. On average, so some people had one access credential, some people had like 5 or 6, and the credential might include something like you have authorization to drive equipment on the runway, that sort of thing. It's a specialist license that you need, or you have credentials to carry a firearm within a secure area. That is another credential that you need. So the average was 3 credentials per member. So there were, I don't think I'm disclosing anything here. Yeah, I did the security clearances and stuff in order to do this job. But the end result was our software was tracking the status of 30,000 credentials, 30,000 pieces of credential documentation, and the documentation associated with each of those credentials. And when it was due for renewal, whether the paperwork had been submitted, like the renewal windows, and that information was then being pushed out to the Siemens SciPass access control system.
I drove a truckload of asphalt into Tullamarine Airport and had to sit an induction certificate and undergo S3 Virel security checks, including a week before a federal security check.
Yeah, that sounds right. So for those of you who couldn't hear that, Crispian just says, I drove a truckload of asphalt into Tullamarine Airport. Okay, so to be a truck driver, to drive onto Tullamarine Airport, had to sit an induction certificate, undergo several security checks, including a week before a federal security check. Yeah, that is normal to get onto airport property. This is the way it works. And you can just imagine, so if you're issuing access credentials and you have 30,000 pieces of credential that you are tracking the status of, and they are regularly expiring because they all expire, and they expire quickly. It's not like you get it and then it's good forever. There is an entire team of staff at Brisbane Airport whose job is nothing but dealing with credentials and access control. And so, yeah, we wrote the software that they used to track all of that. Yeah, as Crispian says, that was for one load. Yeah. Austin says, and yet here in Canada we had a significant amount of gold stolen from our major airport. 400 kilograms, about $20 million worth. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, Russ said, Section D of the National Construction Code defined the requirements for access and egress within a building or structure to ensure people are safe and can exit the building safely. Yep. Oh, Mitchell MNR said, I made it. Oh my God, hello all. G'day, Mitchell. And yes, Don S said to Mr. Fixit, you would beat my air miles travelled to get to the barbecue. Currently, I believe Don S is the record holder for the distance travelled to get to the barbecue, which is flying from New Zealand to... The story I'm telling myself is that the only reason Don flew from New Zealand was to come to the barbecue, because then, yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm telling myself. So he currently is the record holder for the distance travelled to the barbecue. So Mr. Fixit, if you come from Portland to the barbecue, you will be the new record holder for distance travelled. Now, I have something, I'm going to return to this. I have something very important to ask you. Okay. No, I want to, hang on, local host. I have kind of a hard time limit today. And, I shouldn't show that. Maybe I can. Let's see. There is a page there I can't really show. But there are some I can. Yeah, okay. So, I'm going to be a little bit careful. I really should think this through and not just rush into revealing stuff here when I really shouldn't. Okay. This is a private repo, so you will not be able to see it. The URL is there, but yep, go ahead, crack GitHub security. I dare you. So this is, before I get to that, let me explain. No, there is no time. Let me summarize. I have a hard time limit this afternoon because I am going to a family lunch and it is way over the other side of town, and there are various bits of travel involved. So at 12, I am stopping. Like, that is it. I am stopping at that point. I am not running over today because I'm going to be on the road for quite some time to make it to the lunch event on time at all. And there are two final things I want to talk about before 12 o'clock. So I've got 16 minutes. One is, Link, let's bring this back up. Do any of you, let's go back to 4-camera view will do. It's got this channel in it. Here we have one pick and place machine, two pick and place machines, and directly under the camera, 3 pick and place machines. These are KO A4 pick and place machines. These two have been converted to run OpenPNP. The one that is under the camera is factory original, and I'm in this strange situation where I have an opportunity with a narrow window to commit to buying a pick and place machine. In fact, more than a pick and place machine. It's essentially like all of the equipment of an entire pick and place line for an excellent price. But even an excellent price is a high price. It's a lot of money. And the only way that I can pull it off, or that I could justify it, is if I sell existing equipment. I'm not really in a situation where I could buy in a whole lot, like big expensive new machines, move them in. Oh, there's my arms waving up there.
At Tinker001 said, shipping might be problematic.
Yeah, it would be, Tinker. So in order to, I'm not in a position where I can just take these machines, move them out into the factory and leave them there indefinitely in storage.
Do it.
Taking up a whole lot of space and being worth a decent amount of money. So I'm not going to go into this in great detail now. I'm going to move on from this. I'm just putting this out there. I'm going to return to this subject. This is a decision that needs to be made really soon as to whether I'm going to do this, because for reasons I'm not going to get into. I need to make a decision. Even if I don't actually do it yet, I need to make the decision really soon. And that is going to be partly based on if anyone is interested in buying any pick and place machines. I have 3. I will sell all 3 to you as a package lot if that's what you want. If you want to buy 1 machine, that's okay too. But I just need to figure out, it may be that there is zero interest for pick and place machines, like of this sort of scale. Bigger than desktop, these are decent machines. And they have built some boards. In fact, if I come to here, the next topic, look at that, 6,464 boards in the register. I like them. These machines are pretty decent. But this opportunity has come up to acquire a machine that is a very significant upgrade. And the one machine would be like, it would be more than multiples of these machines in terms of its usefulness to me for a variety of reasons. So this is such a niche thing, but if you know of someone who wants to buy 1, 2, or 3 KO A4 pick and place machines, call me, please. Call me. I want to hear from you. And potentially the stencil printer, maybe even potentially the IN6 reflow oven. Because the thing is that...
At Tinker001 said, tiny bit of lag in the real-ink view. John from that angle is a bit slow to wave his arms around.
Yeah, that's right. There is lag. I stick my arm out, whoop. You can see that there is lag. Yeah, it's not huge, but there is a little bit of lag on the NVR. So, all right. That's all I'm going to say for now. Please, if you know of someone that wants to buy pick and place machines, tell me. These are nice machines. So, quit out of that. Just recently, I have been messing around a whole lot more with... Oh, Evil Deece is here! And John is here, Major. Mitchell Emma, Russ Porteous. Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you all here. Yeah, Evil. I am going to be in Canberra soon. Again. Yes. I know. I saw Evil just back in January. It's already May. It's end of May. Let's see. How long ago?
Minutes. Tick, tick, tick.
Yes. January, February, March, April, May. Yeah. So 4 months ago was the last time I was in the Bearer. So yeah, anyway, Evil. I'm going to be back in the Bearer soonish. Only briefly, only for a couple of days. Now, this is Testomatic related. There has been almost no conversation about Testomatic for quite some time now, not since about January. But stuff has been happening. It's just that because the streams have been kind of RepRap, Micron, and Beetlebot focused, this has not been getting screen time. But it has been getting a bit of TLC behind the scenes. This is a local installation. I've also got, there are multiple installations of this. This is just my local dev installation of the register, which is what's used as the central service that acquires all of the data from the testers. So it allows you to keep track of things like serial numbers. Like if I go to 5678 is a serial number. I happen to know what that board is. It is a water cannon thing. I know it's okay to open this one on screen. So you can see on this record it's for T-Rex, which is the water cannon company. You can see that it's a monitor control module Mark II. There's the SKU for it, the hardware revision. This is the firmware that was on it when it was shipped. That is the date this record was created. You can see the invoice, the purchase order. There is TNT tracking for that particular board. You can see events on here. You can see, ooh, there's a picture of the board. There is the actual 5678. This is a photo in a light box of the board just prior to shipping. So you can see, you can go back and look at a history of the board. You can see what it looked like. You can check the tracking to make sure it was delivered properly. You can add notes to it. You can add test information. So that is for serial number 5678. And we have these records for all 6,464 boards that we have assembled since starting to track them in January 2021. And you can see over time here the production chart. You can see it's quite lumpy. Like there were months there we did 317 boards. The next month in November we only did 131 boards, then 122, then 105 in January, and then jumped way up in February to 300. It's a nice round number, 300 boards. So yeah, you'll see that Januaries tend to be very low. Only 48 boards produced this January. And then in February 76, and then it went up to 185 down, and then in May so far we've done 262 boards that we've assembled. So you can see, so this is the place where we keep track of what boards we're making for what customers, and the trends over time. So we've got a dashboard, we've got boards. Can I click on this? Yes, I can. So if I click on it, you can see we've got different boards, device IDs, and like relay shield carrier, zero stick, cam boards, that's for a different client. I'm not going to reveal a lot of this stuff. But like IO relay 8, 2.0, so these are serial numbers here. Like this is the device ID.
The progression of that chart shows that you need to upgrade to the new option for future spikes to be managed okay.
Yeah, true. You are trying to sell me on something that I'm already sold on. I'm just trying to figure out how to pull it off. Yeah, so this is the start of the record. So some changes that I have done just in the last week. What I've done is standardize. So we've got 3 core concepts in this software as it currently stands: boards, designs, and organizations. So a board is a specific board. It is like that is a specific board, which is given a serial number. That board is an instantiation of a design. So the design will be like that particular thing, version 1.0 stuff. Then designs are owned by organizations, which is my customers. So T-Rex water trucks, for example, is one of those customers. So a customer has a number of designs that are produced for them, and then each of those designs has boards. So you can think of this as a hierarchy. It's kind of inverted at the moment. Organizations is at the bottom. Organizations have designs, designs have boards. But this is normally the way you would look at it. You're looking for a board most commonly. And if you put in a serial number search, you can go 5678, bang, you can go straight to the details for that. Then designs is, and so what I've done is unified these views to make them all consistent. They now all have a type ahead search on here, and this is done because in this case we've got 6,500 records, and that number of records is just going to keep increasing. Initially there was some client-side filtering in here. This is now using server-side filtering so that it doesn't have to load all 6,500 records on the client side to do the filter. So it's got like it's a debounced type ahead thing calling out to the API to get the list. So if I start typing can, you can see that it's narrowing, it's applying a filter. So it's found Canon, Canon controller. Yes, and I know there are two different spellings there. Don't hate me. And there will be other things as well. So can. Then if I keep typing, it narrows it down. And if I can type a serial number, it'll narrow it down to that one we were just looking at. So there is now like a type ahead search filter. So there is a serial number thing up the top, but there is also filtering on each of these three sections. So if I go into designs, you can see Air Quality Sensor Pro, for example, and then we can go into the record for it. You can see that I've only ever built 4 of them. We've got the client is Superhouse, which is myself. It's an internal client. AQS is the SKU, description, price, whatever. This is all kind of up for grabs at the moment. And then you can see the devices that have been created. So this particular device with this serial number is an Air Quality Sensor Pro. It was made, it doesn't have, test passed then. There's no image for this one. The data for this, so what we're looking at right now is a test installation running on my local machine.
3 minutes.
It's a test installation running on my local machine, and I don't think the data is even up to date. I haven't run an import of the most recent data onto it. This is my dev environment that we are looking at. So it doesn't have uploaded images for all of the records. There are thousands of photos of boards that get stored in the system, but they're not loaded into this dev environment. I loaded the one for serial number 5678 manually, just to have one to have a record that had an image in it. So we've got boards, designs, organizations, and the same thing happens. So if you go into boards, there is a filter. If you go into designs, there is a filter. I'm not going to click on organizations because it does reveal client names, including clients that I've signed NDAs with, who you should not even know that I'm doing work for. So I'm not going to click in there. But anyway, this is, and also I set it up so that this is one of the changes I did a couple of days ago, is there is a display mode. So in normal operation...
1.59, 1.5...
Oh, stop that. In normal operation, you'd be clicking around through here, but I wanted to be able to put it up on a dashboard somewhere, like a status screen on the wall. So there is a display link which takes away all of the nav and just resizes everything. Now you'll notice that the chart is now wrong. There is a gap here. Now if I hands off, I'm not going to touch anything. At some point, that chart will redraw because there is a timed trigger that, there it goes, that periodically checks the server to see if there are any updates to any of the cards that are on this status screen. And if the data has changed, it then it makes that card glow green and the number changes and the glow fades out. So if you add records, like say we added boards to the system, and it did its update, and this boards card would go pulse green and the number changes. And when it does that check, which is every 30 seconds, it also checks the dimensions of this chart against the canvas. And if it does not match what it should be, it calls a redraw, like a re-render on the chart, and that makes it adjust to the size. So, which means that and now if I click on any of these things, it drops out of dashboard mode, like out of status screen mode. So what it means is that if you, like say I do that and it's resized it and now it's all screwed up, it'll fix itself eventually. Ideally, you wouldn't have to do that, but it's okay. It works. So there are a whole bunch of things. Now where I'm going with this is, at the start of the week, I spat the dummy, there we go, at inventory. I decided that it is not worth another second of my time, and I'm going to build parts.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep, thank you. I will go. I am going to build ERP type functionality into this. So last weekend, Princess Fiona and I started plotting the data model for part storage and stock tracking. It is in some ways remarkably complicated, and to her it seemed obvious and easy, but to most people it's like, oh, okay, that's actually a really complicated problem. And yeah, so there are a whole bunch of things if we go into issues in here. So things that if I look at closed issues, so this includes some stuff that I did just recently, like add search to each of the list pages, add a dashboard view. I fixed that problem, which was a date-based query. Maintain nav highlighting when in subpages, I fixed that one. Adjust chart size. So I've just these are all closed issues. The open issues include store design data against each design record. I've got to rename the project to make it more general. Add production orders to track production of boards. This is actually a bigger thing than you would think. Add support for notes or media that apply to multiple records. Whole lot of stuff to do here. So this is the description of production orders and how we ingest requirements for production of boards so that we can then have a production queue which is prioritized, so that as we're building boards, whoever is running the pick and place machines can just look at the list and say, this is the next thing on the list. There is no judgment call to be made. It is a sequenced list, prioritized, of things to build. So there is all of this. Describing the basic problem, not a solution. This is just describing the basic problem to begin the process of defining what the requirements are. Here it ends with, this needs a whiteboard brainstorming session. Yes. So, I really am going to have to go. Those dings that you hear, that is my family. Like, there's a family group chat talking about arrangements for the get-together that I should be on my way to right now, like final things about where to meet and that sort of thing. So I need to get off this stream and start attending to real life. So anyway,
thanks, Jono. Thanks all.
All of this stuff is going on. Yeah, shipment tracking and photos of ship boxes and design data. So things like storing the test jig configuration against a design, storing firmware images so that they can be pulled down by the test jig. Design files included because we want to be able to process the design file, which reminds me, during the week.
How many of them are betting on how late you'll be?
All of them. During the week, with the able assistance of Claude, I created a script that takes an Eagle file and creates an OpenPNP job. Like it creates an OpenPNP board, and it loads the OpenPNP configuration to see what feeders are on the machine, and it only enables the parts for the feeders that you have. So I don't even have to run the import routine on OpenPNP anymore. I just run this script, point it at the OpenPNP config and at the Eagle board file, and boom, I've got a pick and place thing ready to go. So really cool. So storing things like Fusion files, KiCad files against the design so that the bill of materials can be extracted automatically in order to do costing and parts management. So that when you say, we're going to do a production batch of 100 units of this board, the system can say, okay, you have all of these parts, but this is your shortfall, you need to order these. Anyway, lots of stuff to do in there. But yeah, a fair bit has changed just in the last week on this. Yes, hard deadline. Have to go. Have to. Okay, I gotta go. All right. So, thanks everybody.
Run away, John.
Yep.
You are late. You need to leave. Sob, sob, sob. But fan comes first before us. Unfortunately, glad I got some of the stream. Ha ha.
Yep. Yeah. So as Vic is going, dragging me off camera. Yeah, I'm going to hit that end button in just a second. So thank you very much for coming along. Thanks for the chat. And if you want to buy a pick and place machine, let me know. I hope you have an awesome week, and I'll talk to you all soon. See ya.